A teen girl said, "He told me not to tell anyone." The bikers found hidden cameras in the school bathroom and identified the man behind them. The 15-year-old stood trembling in the parking lot of Joe's diner, tears streaming down her face as she whispered those words to her older brother who rode with the Sentinel Riders Motorcycle Club. What those bikers discovered when they investigated would expose a school janitor who'd been filming students for 3 years and lead to 27 victims finally getting justice. My name is Victor Ghost Martinez, and I've been riding with the Sentinel Riders for 16 years. We were having breakfast when Danny Torres, one of our younger members, rushed in with his sister. She was crying, shaking, and terrified to speak. That alone told us something was very wrong. Her name was Elena Torres, 15 years old, sophomore at Lincoln High School, smart kid, honor roll, never in trouble, and absolutely terrified. Danny brought her to our table. Hammer, our sergeant-at-arms, immediately stood up and positioned himself between Elena and the rest of the diner, creating a safe space, blocking sight lines, making her feel protected. It's instinct when you see a traumatized kid. "Elena, whatever it is, you're safe here," I said. "Take your time." She couldn't look at us, just stared at the table. Her hands were shaking. Danny put his arm around her shoulders. "Tell them what you told me. They'll help. I promise." Elena took a shuddering breath. "There's a camera in the girls' bathroom at school. I found it yesterday, behind the vent cover in the handicapped stall. It's tiny, like the size of a button. But it's there. It's been recording us." The temperature in that booth dropped 20 degrees. Every biker at the table went completely still. "You're sure?" Snake asked carefully. Elena nodded. "I only found it because I dropped my phone and it slid under the vent. When I reached for it, I saw the lens. I took a picture of it on my phone. And then I ran out of there and I couldn't go back. I can't go back." "Did you tell anyone at the school?" I asked. "I told Mr. Harrison, the janitor. He's always so nice to everyone. He's worked there forever. I thought he'd help. But he—" Her voice broke. "He told me I must have imagined it, that there's no camera, that I was probably stressed from exams. And then he said if I told anyone else, people would think I was crazy, that I'd get in trouble for making false accusations. He said it would ruin my reputation, that colleges would see it on my record. He told me not to tell anyone, and he looked at me in this way that made me feel wrong, dirty, like he knew." "Show us the picture," Hammer said. Elena pulled out her phone with shaking hands. The photo was clear, a small lens, professional equipment, positioned perfectly to capture anyone using that stall. The angle suggested it had been there a while, long enough for whoever placed it to fine-tune the position. Cruz, our tech guy, examined the photo. "That's a wireless camera, probably streams to a receiver within 100 yards. And if Harrison dismissed her concerns immediately after she found it, he's either the one who placed it, or he knows who did." "We need to get that camera," I said. "And we need to do it before whoever put it there realizes it's been discovered." "I can't go back there," Elena said, her voice rising in panic. "I can't. Every time I think about it, I feel sick. What if he's been watching us for months? What if he has videos of me, of my friends? What if—" "Elena, look at me," I said. She did. "You did exactly the right thing. You found evidence of a crime. You tried to report it. And when the person you reported it to failed you, you told your brother, you are not in trouble. You are not crazy. And you are not going back to that school until we make sure you're safe. Understood?" She nodded, tears still falling. "Danny, take Elena home. Stay with her. We're handling this," I ordered. After they left, we planned. We couldn't just go tear apart a school bathroom. We needed law enforcement. But we also needed evidence before that camera disappeared, and we needed to move fast. I called Detective Rebecca Walsh. She specialized in cybercrimes against children. We'd worked with her before on community safety programs. I explained the situation, sent her Elena's photo. Within 20 minutes, she was at the diner with a female officer and a warrant to search the school. "If that camera's there, we need to get it before it's moved," Walsh said. "But we also need to be smart. If Harrison is involved, he'll destroy evidence the moment he knows we're investigating." We arrived at Lincoln High School at noon. Principal's office first. Walsh showed the warrant, explained the situation. The principal, Dr. Sarah Chen, went white. "We do background checks on all staff. Mr. Harrison has worked here for 18 years. There's never been a complaint." "That's often how predators operate," Walsh said. "They're careful, patient. They build trust over years, then they exploit it." The plan was simple. Walsh and the female officer would inspect the bathroom. I'd go with them as a civilian observer since Elena had come to us first. Hammer and Cruz would monitor Harrison's movements. Snake would be outside watching for anyone trying to leave. We moved quickly. The girls' bathroom was empty. Third period, everyone in class. Walsh went straight to the handicapped stall, opened the vent cover, and there it was, exactly where Elena had described. A tiny wireless camera, positioned perfectly, lens pointed at the toilet and changing area. "Don't touch it," Walsh said. She photographed it from every angle, documented the position, then carefully removed it, placing it in an evidence bag. But that wasn't the only camera. Walsh checked every vent, every smoke detector, every possible hiding place. She found 2 more. One in a different stall, one positioned near the sinks. 3 cameras, 3 angles, overlapping coverage of the entire bathroom. "This is systematic," Walsh said. "Professional. Whoever did this planned carefully." If you believe bikers are the good people, hit that like and subscribe button. Cruz was already tracking the wireless signal. "These cameras transmit to a receiver. I'm picking up the frequency. It's coming from..." He consulted his equipment. "The maintenance office, basement level." Walsh radioed for backup. We headed to the basement. The maintenance office was locked. Mr. Harrison wasn't there, but the principal had a master key. Inside, we found the receiver, a laptop, external hard drives, and a filing cabinet full of equipment, spare cameras, cables, installation tools. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was an operation. Walsh opened the laptop. What we found made my stomach turn. Hundreds of video files, organized by date, going back 3 years, folders labeled with student initials. This predator had been cataloging his victims. "We need Harrison in custody now," Walsh said into her radio. "Consider him armed and dangerous. He's destroyed evidence before. He'll run if he realizes we're here." Hammer's voice came back. "He's in the parking lot, getting into his truck. Moving now." We ran. Up the stairs, through the hallways, out the front entrance. Harrison's truck was pulling out, but Snake's motorcycle blocked the driveway. Harrison hit the brakes, tried to reverse, but Cruz had already pulled his bike behind him. Trapped. Harrison got out of the truck. He saw us, saw the police, and his face did something I'll never forget. The friendly janitor mask dropped. What remained was cold, calculating, angry. "I want a lawyer," he said immediately. "You're under arrest for voyeurism, production of child exploitation material, and evidence tampering," Walsh said, handcuffing him. "You have the right to remain silent." The investigation that followed revealed the full scope of Harrison's crimes. 27 victims over 3 years, all female students, ages 13 to 18. The videos showed them in various states of undress in the bathroom. Harrison had been collecting this material systematically. But the twist that made everything worse came when forensic analysts examined his hard drives. Harrison hadn't just been recording students at Lincoln High. He'd worked at 3 other schools over his 18-year career, and at each school he'd done the same thing. Installed cameras, recorded students, collected material. The total victim count across all 4 schools was 89, and he hadn't been working alone. On his laptop, investigators found encrypted chat logs. Harrison was part of an online group of predators who worked in schools: janitors, teachers, coaches, security guards, 12 members total. They traded material, shared tactics, advised each other on camera placement and evidence destruction. They called themselves the Custodians. The FBI arrested all 12 within 48 hours, coordinated raids across 7 states. Every member of the group was charged. Every school they'd worked at was investigated. The total number of victims identified exceeded 300. Harrison's trial took place 11 months after Elena found that camera. She testified. So did 16 other Lincoln High students whose faces appeared in his videos. It took incredible courage. These girls had to stand in court and acknowledge that a man they'd trusted had violated their privacy in the most invasive way possible. Elena was the strongest witness. She stood at that podium and described finding the camera, described Harrison's response, described how he'd tried to silence her by making her doubt herself. And she described going to her brother because she knew the Sentinel riders would believe her. Mr. Harrison took advantage of the fact that teenage girls are taught not to make trouble, Elena said in court. That we're supposed to be quiet, that we're supposed to trust authority figures. He counted on us being too embarrassed to report finding cameras in the bathroom, too scared of being called liars. But I reported it, and the people I reported it to believed me, and that's why we're here. The jury convicted Harrison on all 89 counts related to Lincoln High and the 3 previous schools. The judge gave him 45 years. He was 56. He'd die in prison. The other 11 members of the Custodians received sentences ranging from 25 to 50 years. The FBI dismantled their network completely, seized their equipment, identified hundreds of victims, and created new protocols for school security and employee monitoring. But the legal victory didn't erase the trauma. 89 girls at Lincoln High and the previous schools had been violated. 300 more across the entire network. They'd used bathrooms thinking they had privacy. They'd trusted school employees. They'd never imagined they were being watched. Lincoln High School installed new security protocols. Every bathroom was inspected by third-party security experts. Metal detector sweeps weekly. Background checks intensified. And they created a confidential reporting system where students could report concerns without fear of dismissal. Dr. Chen, the principal, addressed the entire school in an assembly 3 weeks after Harrison's arrest. "What happened here is not your fault," she told the students. "You trusted an adult who betrayed that trust, but one of your classmates was brave enough to speak up. Elena Torres found a camera. She reported it. And when she was dismissed, she didn't stay quiet. She found people who would listen. That courage saved every one of you from further violation. That courage exposed a predator network. That courage changed everything." The Sentinel Riders started a new initiative after the Harrison case. We partnered with local schools to create a safety awareness program. We teach students about privacy violations, about hidden cameras, about predator tactics, and most importantly, we teach them that if an authority figure dismisses their concerns, they should keep reporting until someone listens. We also do school security assessments. Our tech expert Cruz inspects bathrooms, locker rooms, any space where students have an expectation of privacy. He looks for hidden cameras, suspicious installations, anything that doesn't belong. We've found 4 more cameras in 3 different schools since Harrison's arrest. Each time, we've worked with law enforcement to identify and arrest the perpetrator. 2 years after that morning in the diner, I attended Elena's 17th birthday party. She was thriving. Honor roll still. Planning to study criminal justice in college. She wanted to work with victims of privacy crimes, help other teens who'd experienced what she had. "You know what I think about most?" Elena asked me at her party. "All those girls who found cameras before me, who reported them, who were dismissed or told they were imagining things, who stayed silent because they were scared or ashamed. How many victims could have been prevented if just one adult had believed them earlier?" You can't think like that, I said. You can only control your own actions. And you did everything right. You found evidence. You reported it. And when you were dismissed, you didn't give up. You found people who would act. That takes real courage. My brother told me you guys would help, Elena said. Everyone always talks about bikers being dangerous, but you were the safest people I could have turned to. The Sentinel Riders aren't heroes. We're just people who care, who listen when kids ask for help, who investigate when something feels wrong, who don't dismiss concerns just because they come from teenagers, who understand that predators often hide in positions of trust and authority. Charles Harrison is 63 now. He has 38 years left on his sentence. Prison hasn't been kind. Inmates who hurt children are targets. He's been attacked 6 times, spends most of his time in protective custody, isolated, alone with the knowledge that he destroyed hundreds of lives for his own gratification. The other custodians are serving their sentences across the country. Several have died in prison. The rest will die there too. Their network is dismantled. Their tactics are documented. Their methods are taught in law enforcement training as examples of how predators operate in institutions. Elena Torres is 17 now. She speaks at schools about her experience. She tells students about finding that camera, about being dismissed, about finding the courage to keep reporting until someone acted. She tells them that they have the right to privacy, that their concerns matter, that if one adult dismisses them, they should find another who will listen. Don't let anyone make you doubt what you saw, Elena tells audiences of teenagers. Don't let anyone convince you that reporting a violation makes you a troublemaker. Don't stay silent because you're scared or embarrassed. Find someone who will believe you. Keep looking until you do, because staying silent only protects predators. The Sentinel Riders give Elena a standing ovation every time she speaks. She's become an advocate, a voice for victims who can't speak yet, a living example that reporting works, that courage matters, that one person speaking up can expose systematic abuse. Lincoln High School has a plaque now, in the main hallway. It reads, "Privacy is a right. Silence protects predators. Courage exposes them. Thank you to the brave students who speak up." It doesn't name Elena specifically. She wanted it that way. Wanted the message to be bigger than her story. But everyone at that school knows who it's really about. The 15-year-old who found a camera, who reported it, who was dismissed, who didn't stay silent, who went to her brother and trusted that bikers would help, who was right. 3 years, 89 victims at one school, 300 across a network, 12 predators arrested, a systematic privacy violation exposed, all because Elena Torres dropped her phone, saw a lens, took a photo, and refused to be silenced. The Sentinel Riders taught Elena something important that day in the diner. We taught her that bikers aren't what society says they are, that leather and motorcycles don't define danger, that dismissiveness defines danger, that silence defines danger, that authority without accountability defines danger. Charles Harrison had 18 years of authority, 18 years of access, 18 years where no one questioned him, where students trusted him, where administrators dismissed any concerns because he had seniority and a clean record. He counted on that authority protecting him forever. He didn't count on Elena Torres, didn't count on her being observant enough to find the camera, brave enough to report it, smart enough to document it, and persistent enough to find people who would act when the first authority figure failed her. That's the lesson every predator should learn. Authority has limits. Silence breaks. And eventually someone notices, someone reports, someone acts. Sometimes that someone is a 15-year-old girl who trusts her instincts. Sometimes the people who believe her are bikers. Harrison thought teenage girls would be too embarrassed to report cameras in bathrooms, too scared of being called liars, too trained to defer to authority. He was wrong. Elena wasn't too scared, wasn't too embarrassed, wasn't willing to defer to authority that dismissed her safety, and the Sentinel Riders weren't willing to dismiss a terrified teenager who came to us for help. We investigated. We acted. We made sure she was heard. We made sure evidence was preserved. We made sure predators were caught. That's what matters. Not the arrests or the sentences or the headlines. The 89 girls at Lincoln High who know they were violated, but also know justice was served. The 300 victims across the network who finally got answers. The countless potential victims who were protected because Harrison's operation was shut down. Elena Torres wears a silver bracelet now. The Sentinel Riders gave it to her on her 16th birthday. It's engraved with one word: courage. She wears it every day. A reminder that she was brave, that she spoke up, that she didn't let fear or shame or dismissiveness stop her from protecting herself and others. The broken vent cover, the tiny lens, he told me not to tell anyone, the trembling girl in a diner booth, the bikers who believed her, the cameras that became evidence, the network that fell, the justice that was served. That's the story of Lincoln High School, of Elena Torres and Charles Harrison, of the custodians and the Sentinel Riders, of a predator network brought down because one girl refused to be silenced and found people who would listen. Like and subscribe for more stories.